Guys, Auto Fanatic. So I'm going to be testing out the EBC yellow stuff brake pads front and rear on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. All right guys, so over on my workbench, you can see that it's got a red coating that is on the actual friction side of the brake pad. Apparently this is to help break the pads in and also give it very good stopping power as the pads are replaced into the vehicle. So sometimes the pads need to get warmed up. If you pull it out of the shop or your driveway and you hit the pedal, there may not be any brakes and you might be able to hit something. So this is done as a precautionary measure, and I also feel this coating most likely has something to do with removing any leftover pad transfer material from the pads that you had prior. So that's exactly what you want. You want something that's going to clean up the rotor surface and start fresh with a new set of pads. Also, another cool thing about these pads, it has the factory style sensor wire built in, even though I disabled mine in the front, but it's still there for any of you guys that want OEM. It also has a rear little rubberized pad in the back. This is like an anti-vibration pad to stop squeal. So in this particular instance, you're not going to want to reuse the factory stainless steel shims, but this also has it built in. So actually pretty cool. I'm excited to try these out. A customer and a fan had these on his car, and I test drove it. If you guys head over to my Instagram page, I drove his car. It's actually the fastest Quadrifoglio that I've driven to date, and I actually like the grabbiness of the pads. He didn't really like them. He bought my Tarex rotors, and he's going to be trying out some other pads. But like I said, braking on these cars is subjective. In every car that I've ever driven, as far as this IBS, intelligent braking system, they all feel different. So I'm going to slap these in the car today, and I'll come back in about a week. We'll go for a drive, and I'll tell you all about the EBC yellow stuff, front and rear, as a combination with the OEM rotor. So see you guys soon. All right, guys, so I'm just going to take you on one of my favorite roads up here north of where I live, just to show you guys how well the EBC yellow stuff brakes work on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I've been driving on these brakes for about a month, and there's a lot of awesome things about them that I really like. And I think for a street pad, they're phenomenal. The fact that they're so inexpensive to replace, that is just a total home run as well. But this road here, it's really hard to see on camera, but it's got massive elevations, declines, turns, where you're constantly on the brake pedal, in and out, to go through these things safely. And this is a true test of your braking system's efficiency. If your car is going to make it through the end of this road and not fade, then that means your brakes are definitely up to par. So I've been through this road a few times already with this car on these pads, but this is the first time I'm actually filming it. And you're pretty much going to be hard on the brakes constantly through here. And like I said, I don't think this EBC yellow stuff is a true track pad. Maybe it is on certain cars, but I think as soon as you exceed a weight limit of like 3,500 pounds, I don't think this is probably the pad you're going to want to go for. I think on a lighter weight car, this thing will probably work even better. But I'm just going to let the car in front of me pass, just so I have some more room. But overall, I think for the street, these are some of my favorite pads that I've tested on this car so far. The modulation, the bite, and it's like the bite is so linear. Like it grabs, and then it gets even tighter and tighter. There's no lurching forward. There's no like inconsistencies that you get with like the OEM pads. But see, hard on the brakes, and it just takes it. It takes it. Now, the one thing I do notice on these pads, if you're gonna do like repetitive 120 to 140 mile an hour stops, I'm talking like if you're gonna be on the parkway, open road, you're gonna do some open acceleration runs, and you're gonna pound on the brakes, after about 4 or 5 times, you're gonna get brake fade. And after about 7 to 10 times, you're gonna get a lot of brake fade and you're gonna smoke the pads. I've tested it, it's happened already. But like I said, the guys that are gonna be doing these pads on this type of a car, I don't see them doing that type of behavior. So I just think for the track, you're probably better off with a Tarex pad, a Carbotech XP8, XP10 combo, or something a little bit more aggressive. We're in race mode, manual mode, of course. And I'm like jabbing the brakes pretty hard, like right there. Really hard. And the more heat you get into them, the more braking you're gonna really get, like where they don't just die out. Like on a lot of pads, you'll get one or two or three jabs, it'll feel great, and then after like the fourth or fifth, you just kind of start fading them. And I think the compound of these pads is phenomenal. I tried EBC pads back in the 90s, and to be honest with you, I wasn't a huge fan of them back then, because back in the 90s we were putting these on 850R Volvos, E36 M3s. You know, the braking components weren't up to par of something like this or some of the other cars that we have today. But I'll stab it right here hard. I mean, you can see it. And the good thing about this, whereas on the Tarox Corsa pads, if you do front and rear courses, the ABS is just intervening too much at hard acceleration. I don't really like that. And if you're going to be on the track, you got to be very, very careful with the ABS intervention on this car, any car, especially with the back of this car. It's really light, and you can get it to whip back around and lose control real easily. I like to modulate the ABS where you could feel it come in, but it's not going to overpower what you're doing, you know, with the pedal. So we'll do that again. We'll do another hard stop. This is at 65 miles an hour. And the ABS didn't kick in. So that's what you want. You don't want the wheels to lock up. You don't want the ABS to intervene all the time, because you want to be able to control all your inputs. I'm going to hit it hard here, and it still has it. Starting to get a little bit less braking right now. It's probably I'm exceeding the heat because we're going downhill, we're going uphill. We're putting a lot of heat into these pads with the power that this car puts out. So getting on hard again. Brakes are just there, man. These things still have them. This is a phenomenal street pad for someone like me. And braking is subjective, and I talk about this in a lot of my content. You know, what I like may not be what you like. So I'm trying to give you guys some feedback. You know, all these different things that I'm testing on this car. Now, I'm on OEM rotors. I'm not on the slotted Tarox. I sold those, and I'm going to be testing out a set of two-piece gyro disc as soon as the rear rotors become available. They've been out of stock on back order since like February of 2020, and I don't know when they're going to come back in stock. It's definitely not a popular application for this particular car. So that's pretty much going to be the next pad. Now, this is a very soft pad in terms of the compound. How do I know that? They dust out like crazy, and the way they bite, you can tell it's a very, very soft compound just by the way they feel. And I personally like that. The pads are so inexpensive that I don't really care about wearing them out. $235 to replace the front and rear pads, it's not gonna break the wallet for anybody's needs. It's almost like, you know, high performance cars, tires, pads, and fuel, kind of like expenses of owning a high performance car. There, but it kicks into the point where you can modulate it. That's what I like about these pads, is the modulation that you get. See this blind spot right here. You got to be real careful on this road. But I'm gonna zip through the rest of it, and then I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts on the EBC yellow stuff pads on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Like I said, I like them. So now we're going at a steep decline, which puts more strain on the braking system. I felt that back wheel lock up almost. The more heat that's building up right now, the more powerful they're getting. And I think another limitation too would be the tires. I'm not on the courses, I'm on the Pilot Super Sports, and tires do affect. Man, 100-degree day today too, high humidity, and this car still hauls ass. There. So I'm just gonna pull over and talk to you guys and give you guys my final thoughts on the EBC. And I just want to show you guys the wheels. This is after 45 miles driven. You can see these wheels were 100% spotless when I left to shoot this video for you guys today. So like I said, the EBC yellow stuff, they do dust out a lot. You can see it there. So what's happening is the dust is blowing through the cross-drilled holes and all over the barrel of the wheel. But to be honest with you, I love these pads for the street. Twisty back roads like I just took you on this video are awesome. Now, the one thing I'll tell you, you will smoke these pads on the track. I don't see, for the weight of this car, the horsepower of this car, that these pads are gonna be what you want for a long track or a very, very aggressive driver. I just think you're gonna smoke them. But to be honest with you, they make other pads, you know, that are better suited for those particular applications. But honestly, for the street, so far, the EBC yellow stuff is my favorite pad of choice that I've tested on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I wanted to thank my customer, David. He came up to the shop a few weeks ago and had these pads on his car. And if you go over to my Instagram page, I did a video driving it. His car is tuned, and he had a Meister shaft custom exhaust on it, and the thing was a freaking monster. Now, he took his car to the track, and he did not like these pads on the track. And now, after driving these things for about a month, I kind of could get it, why this is probably not the pad that you're gonna want on the track. It's very soft, it's very grabby. Like I said, it's very subjective as far as what you're looking for in a braking system. I like a grabby brake, but one thing I like about these pads is that it's linear. So they start to bite hard, it gets harder and harder and harder throughout, you know, the stopping distance of your car. Now, also the tires, for the guys that are on courses, it probably would stop a lot better, but overall, it worked out really, really well, and I really, really like these pads a lot. So, like I said, thanks for coming along for the video. I'm gonna post links and part numbers for anybody out there with the Alfa Romeo that wants to put these on their car. I think they're phenomenal, and pretty soon, when my gyro disc two-piece lighter rotors show up, I will be putting those on the car and doing a follow-up video as well. But so far, about 600 miles on these pads. I'm very, very happy with them. The downgrade is they come yellow, like you guys know, they come yellow out of the box. I actually took the time to pull them off the car, scuff them up, and high temp paint them, like I'll show you guys in a photograph here, because the yellow just clashed with the red calipers and my black car. But if you guys are interested in doing it, you know, try out maybe putting the fronts on, see if you like it. If you don't like the way they look in your car, just pull them out, scuff them up, and spray them with some high temp paint, and you pretty much will be good to go. So, like I said, please subscribe to the Auto Fanatic channel. Thanks for watching. And anybody with an Alfa Romeo that has questions regarding braking or any of the performance mods that I've done, you're more than welcome to send me an inquiry through the Auto Fanatic website and chat some more, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys any day of the week, anytime. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video real soon. Take care.